and welcome back to my channel. Today I have another handmade DIY journal cover for you, and this is going to be a traveler's notebook style journal, and you see that I have prepared the cover already, and I used cotton fabric for that, and I just sewed two pieces with the same size together. Here you can see it. And after sewing, I covered both sides with a thick layer of gesso. I added 2 layers on each side, so the cover becomes really good and it's very sturdy. Now we are going to decorate the cover, the outside of the fabric. And I just picked the side that had a smoother layer of gesso on top, and I'm just wetting the whole piece before I go in with acrylic inks. You can make this cover any size you want. I have used 7 by 7 inches, not exactly but approximately. And I will also share how I make some tiny inserts that are measuring 3 by 6 inches. I want to get kind of a watercolory look on the cover, so I'm using the acrylic inks. I don't use watercolor because I thought it would be better to use a permanent paint, so in case I will lay that piece into any kind of wet media when I'm working in, or so that I don't ruin the cover. The inks I'm using here are both from Amsterdam. To make it look more interesting, I'm adding in some splatters with the turquoise, and I will also use some white. When everything is dry, I go on top with some stenciling, and it doesn't work really good because I don't know why. Maybe it's the fabric background, but I get a lot of paint under my stencil. But finally I find a way to create some nice flowers from that stenciling using more layers, so finally I don't mind. The stencil that I'm using here is from Stamplorations. Next, I'm creating some light pink dots with another stencil. My flowers are dry and I'm placing my stencil again on top, and I add some of that lighter pink. I am very careful not to press too hard because I don't want the paint to run under the stencil. This light layer adds some more dimension and definition to the flowers. And that's always a good way to rescue a messed up stenciled image. Just go on top with a lighter color and then be very carefully, and then you get something like an image with a shadow, and with flowers I think it looks pretty nice. Also place the dot stencil on top again, and I shifted a bit from the first dots I made, and here I'm using white acrylic paint and add them over the other dots. I think that gives a really interesting pattern and creates more depth. When the paint is completely dry, I go on top with a little bit of background stamping just to bring in more texture and interest. And here I use also a turquoise ink from StazOn together with that grid background stamp. I make some marks by outlining the circles. And now I'm adding more definition to my flowers by using the white Oni Posca marker, and I add in some more intense highlights. I wanted to have kind of a title on the front side of the journal cover, and here I stamped some paint tubes from the Artist Plate stamp set to tissue paper, and here I'm just arranging them a little bit and see what I like, and then I will stick it down with gel medium. Everything is dry, it's time to punch the holes into the cover, and I already used a fine liner to mark my holes, and I will have to add the top and to add the bottom in the middle of my cover, and one right in the middle. I'm using the crocodile tool to punch the holes. I will also use some eyelets to secure the holes. And here you can see it. I have smaller holes for the elastic that will hold the inside books, and one bigger hole for the closure. Now I'm adding in the elastic, and matching my cover I use a pink one. It's important that you don't tie it too strong, because then it will bend the cover and it will not look good. For the closure, I'm using that bigger elastic because I think it's really pretty. And now it's time to add the inserts. I used mixed media cardstock for them and cut it to 6 by 6. And then I folded in half and I sewed it with my sewing machine right in the middle. I only have used, I believe, 3 sheets of paper, so I have 6 pages, or I have 12 pages, but 6 papers. And yes, you can use more paper. It depends on the paper weight you're using and what your sewing machine can do. And here you can see the finished journal. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you have fun creating your own journal. Have a wonderful day, and I hope we see us next time. Bye.